Hi, I'm Ryan, and you're watching a YouTube series on functional programming. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the either container, and I'm actually going to build upon what we talked about in the previous episode. So, as a quick recap, the either container is very straightforward. It has two subclasses, a right and a left. The right is returned when you have a success. The left is returned when you have a failure. And the main difference between the right and the left is the right will always execute the function that needs to be mapped. The left completely ignores the function that needs to be mapped. And that is how, when you chain things together, if it's a left, it will never execute the function in the chain, and whereas a right will always execute the functions in the chain. And eventually you pluck out the data from your container using the fold. A right executes the right function in the fold, a left executes the left function in the fold. So the example that we used was for a user in a game where we said, okay, if the user age is less than the game min age, then we return a right of a game, which is our success case. And if it's a failure, we return a left with a message. And here we saw that, okay, given this uh, given these values for a user in a game, we run the chain and we execute and eventually extract data depending on whether it's a right or a left. My main concern with this entire piece of code is that the access game function over here seems to have a little more knowledge about uh, the context in which it is executing, or the functional context in which it is executing. It knows about the right, it knows about the left, and this is what I don't like. So what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to refactor this code to write it in a way where business logic doesn't need to know much about the existence of these functional containers. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to define a simple function over here called as fromCondition, and it takes three arguments. One is a predicate, one is the on success, and the third is the on failure. And eventually I'm going to return I'm going to run the predicate, and if the predicate is successful, I'm going to do right.off on success. Otherwise I'm going to return a new left of on failure. So this is pretty straightforward, right? I wrap the success in the right, I wrap the failure in the left. So now let's go ahead and refactor this code. I'm going to do either dot from condition, and then I'm going to give it the first condition, which is user.age is greater than game.minAge. This is my condition. My second function, which is the on success function. So in this case I want to return a game, and on if it's a failure I want to return a message. So I'm only dealing with values over here. I'm not dealing with any of uh, the container types in my business logic here. And eventually I'm just going to copy the same map and fold function that I had. And let me just go ahead and execute this. Oh, I need to make it a static function. So you go here, clear the command line, and here you go. We are able to see that the user is able to play this game because the condition satisfies. If I make it 12 here, you can see that it does not go through the map function, does not print the publisher message because it's a left. So this is a much more neater way uh, to write your code, because your business logic does not know anything about the existence of functional containers. The other thing you could do is you could actually move this function outside of uh, the either. If you don't want to modify the signature of an either, you can move it, make it a separate helper function, and you can just use it directly. Instead of saying either.from condition, it could just be a from condition or create either, something of that sort, and it's still going to work the same. Well, that's about it for this video, and in the next video I'm going to talk about creating an either from a try catch block. Thanks for watching.